Hi everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Bish's RV. Welcome back once again with some updates to what I already felt was perhaps the best starter family camper out there. Literally, like if me, my wife, and my kid were going to get a camper today, no joke, the 26BH Go Play is really in the top 3 of my personal nerd preferred list, and probably the one that I would end up going with because it's small. It's under 30 feet, so it's not like the smallest thing, but it's no slides, it's simple, it's easy, it's a lightweight where a half-ton can yank this thing around pretty darn readily. It's got a taller ceiling, a bigger air conditioner, factory standard, no heat vents in the floor, no carpet, so very easy to clean, very pet-friendly. If I feel like bringing my dog and or cat with us or something like that. The belly's heated and enclosed, which is almost never done in an entry-level price point camper like this. Still has an outside gas grill quick connect. It has a big front storage compartment and a lot of other good things. But what have we done to make it better? Because that was always there before. We have given it I call it a full facelift on the outside. I think this thing is looking great. There have been some interior redesign tweaks, but for the most part, we did the outside of this, I think, looks significantly better than it did before. There's also things like the storage under the bed. We've completely reinvented that, and I think it's so much better. And mark my words, you are going to see a bunch of brands copy what we have done here in this price point and in this segment. We've demonstrated that it can be done without blowing the price of the RV out of the water. Other people will do it. Our version of this, because a lot of builders have a version of this, ours has a full bedroom privacy wall. It's a major defining quality. Some have a half wall, some have no wall, and all of those have different benefits. But if you're looking for full maximum bedroom privacy, this is the one that accomplishes that. There's a couple little hitches in its giddy up as we go I want to kind of explain, but for the most part, I'm very happy with this thing, and I'd love to hear from you, because my opinion's one thing. You might be the person buying it. What do you think of it? Let us know, and let's get going. Now, when we started, I kind of described this, I think, as one of my favorite models for first-time family campers, and it doesn't just have to be first-timers, but one of the reasons I say that is because of the no slide. It's just simpler, it's easier, there's less to understand and learn about and to maintain. And it weighs less, it costs less, it's easy in, easy out. And this floor plan, if like you camp in this for only a couple years, then you want to upgrade, which I don't recommend, first of all. That's why I try to help you find your second camper the first time. But if you do that, this floor plan is never going to go out of style. And there are so many other first-time RV families looking to get their first camper that would be very happy to take home a used version of one of these. So the trade values on a floor plan like this are typically very reasonable. That can be a very good thing. And your first time person, you don't know what you don't know. So potentially protecting yourself from too much of a ding on a late model trade-in is not a bad thing. Some of the other little details though, because every manufacturer makes a floor plan like this. Why did we make another one? Well, like anybody, we thought we could do it better. But what did we do? We added a little toe kick to the kitchen so that you're not constantly leaning over your sink and your stove to be able to use stuff. So your back's not going to hurt when you're camping in it. Now, this floor plan has 2 things for countertop space. It has both jack and squat, but what are you going to do? There's just not really any other way around it unless you start really sacrificing other things like a couch out of the camper. We also made ours a little bit taller inside. It's 6'9", and it has a 15,000 BTU air conditioner. Many builders in this class have a 13,005. There are a couple others that have a 15,000, but most do not. We also extended our cabinetry all the way. We maximized the cabinetry. A lot of brands won't have, this will just be open dead air right here. And we have the full privacy wall over there with the mirror. So the privacy wall will make the camper look and feel smaller. We added the mirror just to visibly make it, to give you that negative space impression in a real illusion, but to make you not feel so claustrophobic in this thing while still maximizing your privacy. A lot of brands have your TV hookups right here. Our campers certainly no exception to that. And I keep saying ours because the Go Play series is exclusive to us here at Bish's, if you weren't aware. But from the sofa or from the dinette bench that is close to us that faces toward the rear of the camper, you've got a pretty good beat on the television. And if you've never camped, you don't realize how nice campsite window coverage is. If I kind of back up here, you've got that, I'm not going to say gigantic, but decent size window overlooking the dinette. You've got a full viewing window in the door, which is prepped for a privacy shade. Doesn't necessarily include one, but that's an easy. If the only thing you need is a privacy shade, we can pop that in. And a decent window in the bedroom that, because of the sliding panel door to privatize the bedroom when that's open, you get 3 decent windows overlooking the campsite of your RV that are visible from, like, when you're in the camper, which is kind of nice. Now, there's a thing that happened, and it's Bish's RV fault. It's our fault, and we're going to get it resolved actually pretty quickly. But in the meantime, I'm going to turn this into an opportunity to get some feedback from you. So here's what's going on. We have heard you loud and clear. You don't like the knee knocker pedestal post for the most part. The majority of people have voiced that opinion, which is the same that I personally feel. But my opinion isn't the most important. Yours is. So we were talking with our production partner about, hey, what if we change these out? And something got mixed up along the way, and they shipped this with these free-floating folding legs, which normally I like, but there's a problem with this floor plan. They don't work here because of that wheel well. The table can't actually slide against the wall, and it will leave that table sticking out like 6 inches into an already limited hallway space. That's not okay. That can't continue. We've already basically short-term reverted this back to pedestal legs, but we want to change this. Here's the idea that I had. Let me know if you like this or if you have a better idea. My idea is keep the folding legs, but put a bracket against the wall under the window, where what you can do is that leg that would be close to the wall, you can fold that up, you can leave that leg down, and then you can bracket the thing against the wall. It will be sturdy, it will be stable, you can push on it to stand yourself up, you can still shift the table left and right a little bit if you're bigger in the midsection like me and your kids and wife are smaller. You can still do all that. You can still fold it down into a sleeper, but it allows you to have more leg room, and you can take the table outside when you want. To me, that's the best multi-purpose solution. But again, that's my opinion. I want to hear from you. What would you like to see in a floor plan like this? So if you're willing, if you have an opinion, any input, I don't care if you're like, well, I'm not going to buy this kind of camera. I don't care. Share your thoughts. Just because you might not be the target buyer for this doesn't mean you don't have valid input. And in the meantime, I want to go through some storage and some cabinetry stuff. Like, it's all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry. There is storage below the dinette benches, but notice how we actually also added the doors to be able to get down there. So you don't necessarily only exclusively have to like tear apart the dinette to get to it. Again, the dinette can fold down into a small sleeper. I think it's only like 5.5 feet, something like that. It's not giant. That is a 10 cubic foot 12 volt compressor fridge. And you might notice when we go through the kitchen, we have a microwave and a propane oven. A lot of manufacturers, to save a couple $100, they have removed ovens. Now, I'll tell you this, I'm okay with that. I personally have no use for a propane oven in an RV, but that's me. I'm not the one necessarily spending the money on this camper. You might be. So I would love to hear your input. Do you, like, would you be okay with saving a couple $100 to delete an oven, like a lot of brands have? Or would you rather the oven stay in there? Let me know. Again, if you're willing, let me know. Your feedback, again, is what helps us design these campers. Spinning back around here over the kitchen, you might notice there's a little bit of storage there under the sofa. We've got a couple nice full extension drawers, then just a little sponge drawer. And people are like, well, why isn't that a full drawer? Because the sink is in the way. They're, like, physics says two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. I do like the sink covers, though. I don't think these had any before. It's both a cutting board and a sink cover and something that you can discipline your husbands with, ladies. That's a 3-in-1 benefit right there. Plus the dish drying rack. Nothing wrong with that. Over here under the stove, it's not massive, but it's a pocket. So why let space go to waste? That's stupid. We didn't want that to be the case. And I do also want to mention that stovetop, it actually does exhaust heat out of the RV. A lot of campers don't do that. And a lot of people never look at the driver's side of the camper when they're buying it. They just find out, uh-oh, mine doesn't have that after they are already at a campsite. Moving on from there. The bunks, some brands will build this kind of open air, which makes the camper look and feel bigger. I get it. This does provide more privacy. We wanted privacy and comfort to be major factors in our Go Play RVs. And with that, again, little things to look at when you are comparing different brands. And there's other campers that are great. I'm not saying this is the only one to look at, but we offer separate curtains for each of the bunks. And windows that do open for airflow in both the upper and lower bunk. And we provide the bunk residents charging solutions and a little place to slot their phones at night. And some brands do some of that. Some brands don't. And maybe you like it. And maybe you don't. I'm not here to tell you what's good and what's not. I want to let you know not just what our RV has. One of my goals is also to kind of help teach you how to fish, teach you how to shop for a camper so you know what the next one might be offering. And again, there's some little convenience details like the hat and coat hooks by the door over here in the bathroom by this area. This could be like, hand towels. But in the private bathroom area, we added a spot here to hang some, normal towels or beach towels that just wasn't there before. And I'm not saying like, oh boy, I have to buy it because of that. But start taking note. Like back this video up and get a Post-it note and start marking a tally mark every time we spot something on here that's just a little bit above industry standard. There's a lot. Like the taller ceiling is another one of those things you can see that I can stand in the shower and be just fine. Some people prefer showers. Some people prefer tubs in a bunkhouse. There's not a lot of RVs that have tubs anymore. So we did kind of go that route just to have something a little bit different that maybe you couldn't find somewhere else to kind of perform a service that way. And you can always stand in it and take a shower. The leg room in here, I will say, is adequate. The elbow, hip, and shoulder room, I think, is actually pretty decent. And again, I say that from experience because versions of this camper are essentially what I've personally always used myself in my adult life camping with my family. I forgot to mention, but you can obviously see those power outlets right there in the dinette. That's another handy feature that people don't think about. And a lot of times when people are shopping for RVs, if they've never owned a camper, they don't know. You can obviously, I talk with my hands to myself. You can see in the reflection of the mirror. Normally, you can't pick up on those handy little details. What do you think about the privacy wall, by the way? That is something that we really wanted to put in this because we noticed most manufacturers just didn't. And talking to a lot of customers at my Southern Michigan store where I'm personally out of, I hear a lot of people saying, can I get it with a wall? And most manufacturers don't offer it that way. So I don't know. And again, this folds down also into a sleeper. Not a big one, but something, I guess. You know what I mean? Working our way up here into that private bedroom, there is the sliding pocket privacy door, by the way. Wow, we got the whole team rolling in out here. Awesome. I'm recording, obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm at an RV show recording this. I get here at like 7 o'clock in the morning to record stuff when it's literally just like me and the security person. And they're always like, what are you doing here? I'm like, working. They're like, weird. This is a short queen bed. I don't love that. There's room in here for a true queen. Plenty, actually. I kind of wish we were just doing it from the factory. I'm going to personally kind of advocate for that. But do me a favor, again, in the feedback, leave me a note. Do you think that would be juice that's worth the squeeze if this just had a factory true queen? Up here, your TV hookups. This wall's kind of blank. I don't really know that it needs to be anything. I don't know. I guess a couple more of those hooks couldn't hurt, but I don't know that that's a really big significant benefit necessarily. What I am really excited about here in this bedroom, though, is what we have accomplished under this bed. Because it's still easy lift, but we redesigned this area. Most manufacturers, if you lift the bed, especially in a stick and tin class, you're lucky if you get the struts to hold the bed up. So we wanted to include those, but we didn't want it so that you always had to lift the bed to get to the storage. We wanted the storage to come open out to you. And I'm going to give Coachman some credit. They were really one of the first ones to kind of pioneer a lot of these enhanced underbed storage concepts. But I have never seen somebody in this class and price point do anything like this. Like even including just a handy little laundry basket there. I'm not saying that's the be all end all of the world, but I guarantee you in a bunkhouse, you're going to need a lot of clothes hamper space. So giving you at least something when typically you get absolutely nothing for laundry solutions in a camper like this at this budget. You start getting into some more expensive stuff and they start doing stuff like that. But for these kind of dollars and cents, a lot of daily function features are often deleted and omitted. We wanted this to be a fully featured, fully functional RV. I kind of think we've accomplished that. Normally, I'd take the chance to close the slides to show you for road mode. But with no slides, you're good to go. Now, back to something I talked about when the video first began, the towing aspects of this. I generally think, like, tow package half tons will pretty much find this thing a fairly reasonable, comfortable fit for them. Because it's about 30 feet long, but it has no slides, which it peels so much weight. And there, not only just the weight of the slide out itself, what the engineering and the structure it requires in the RV now doesn't have to be there. And there's just less maintenance and upkeep. There's less room in the RV, but there's also less stuff that goes along with it. So I think this has a maximum weight fully loaded with cargo of like 65 or something like that. We obviously just had the specs on the screen that I don't have in front of me, but that's not unreasonable, I don't think. Up front here, the power tongue jack takes the tennis elbow out of the equation of hooking up your weight distribution hitch. If you're doing those properly, what you actually do is you drop the hitch ball, or the hitch, the trailer down onto the hitch ball, you latch it, and then you actually crank the tongue jack up and then set your weight distribution system and then pick up your tongue jack. A lot of people don't do that in the correct order. That power tongue jack just makes it easy. Now, the solar charge controller, we intentionally moved it into the front compartment. Some people don't like that because they can't easily see it all the time. I get it. By the way, we also added that battery disconnect right there. But the charge controller's in the front because that is vastly easier to access for service purposes. It'll, it cuts down on a ton of labor time, and it gets the job done quicker, faster, easier without somebody walking through your camper. We also now include a portable picnic table with these. And I would have normally pulled that out for display, but because of our little oops that I talked about with the table legs inside, I'm going to use the dining table to kind of simulate that picnic table and do it all in one shot for you. By the way, your opinion. What do you think of the new revised look of these? Those who have looked at our Go Play campers or videos before, I am personally very happy with this. Another thing that I like, it looks fresh and it looks modern, but one thing that I like is I've seen some RVs try to do this before. I think Olympia tried to do this. They just like pounded a ton of glitter into their paint, and it looked like a glitter bomb went off. You know that silver troll from the movie Trolls that like farts glitter? That's what a bunch of them looked like to me. And I'm glad that it looks cleaner and modern, but it doesn't look like Vegas threw up on the outside of this thing. I'm okay with that. We put the biggest power awning on it that we could. You notice it starts at the front baggage door, and it goes all the way to the rear little cargo compartment back there. Notice, though, that we didn't try to force a camp kitchen into this. Some people like camp kitchens. I get that. I respect that. But some people, the number one question I get on camp kitchens is, can I get just storage? So what we did is we put a gas grill quick connect back there. So if you want to bring a grill or something, you can. Now, this is basic suspension. These are basic import tires. There's nothing flashy or fancy there. It's easy if you want to do a more ride upfit on the suspension. If you want to swap out the tires, that could be done. But stuff like putting galvanized steel wheel well shields in there, God forbid you have a blowout. It's an extra literal silver lining to hopefully prevent you from having a really bad day. And if you go RV shopping, if you're a first-time RVer, you don't know what you don't know. And you don't realize that a lot of manufacturers don't give you any blowout protection. And I have literally seen in my career about once a year, I see an RV literally get totaled by an insurance company because of a flat tire. It can be so damaging so fast. You might notice that we don't have like a holdback on our entry door because that's an anti-slam friction hinge. Somebody was flirting with the idea of putting one of those glass front doors on this. We did not go that direction because we didn't want it to get really hot in the sun and potentially burn little kiddo fingers. Not to mention just the fear factor of, God forbid, if that stupid thing gets broken. It's expensive and it's annoying to get replaced. Again, these table legs will not continue necessarily in this RV unless we work with our production partner to get the table to bracket against the dinette wall. Again, we really need your feedback on there. What is the correct way to go? And that is what we're going to try to do. By the way, this does have a gas and electric water heater. This has not gone to a tankless on demand. It does seem like a lot of the industry is going that way, but on this camper, we didn't do it. I don't know. Was that the right or the wrong call? You let us know. It is prepped for a ladder. It's prepped for a camera, but it does have factory standard solar up there on that fully walkable roof. And as I mentioned earlier, we have something back here that's worth at least $37,000. That is, when the gas comes out the backside, you have what I lovingly refer to as a propanus. Now, major housekeeping note. You can obviously see there we go, price tag poster in the background up there. at this show event, at the time this is being recorded, that's the price of this RV here. That could change over time. There's a number of factors and reasons. My best recommendation, and the reason I always leave you a link in the video description, is to click that link, go to our website, so when you are watching this, when you are actually interested or curious or shopping, you can see current and accurate pricing and availability. Because a price tag that any person lists in a video, a lot of times they only list MSRP, which doesn't really tell you what's coming out of your pocket. The other thing is, this isn't like an Amazon listing where the pricing changes in the video over time. It doesn't stay accurate. So our website always gives you the most accuracy. So if you're watching this video 4 years from now, you can always get the accurate price tag. And in the meantime, let us know what you think about it. Have we made the right moves? Or are we falling off the mark? I don't know. You tell us, and we will try to do our best to continue to fulfill what you ask for to the best of our ability. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.